What's going on, guys? My name's Spence,
And I'm Mitch.
and we're two brothers that really love King of the Hill. And today, we are on to one of my personal favorites in the entire series, Halloween. King of the Hill's one and only Halloween-themed episode in the entire series.
After 13 seasons, they only did one Halloween episode.
It's disappointing that they only did one Halloween episode.
And I have to disagree with that because I feel like having a Halloween episode and a Christmas episode every season is a waste of 2 episodes because they're always the same.
Yeah, they didn't need to do one every single season. And I love Dale's cigarette in his outline. They didn't have to do every single season, but it would have been nice to have one or two more.
I'd like to be the guy who dies with the cigarette still dangling out of his mouth.
This is one of my personal favorite episodes, not only because it goes back to the whole Halloween nostalgia, which I'm sure many of us miss the days where we could go around collecting candy door to door on Halloween.
And blow up jack-o'-lanterns with fireworks.
Yeah. And I wonder if that was what it was like back in the 60s. We should ask Dad if you got full chocolate bars.
Talk about wah ha 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 ha, dang old boo, man.
Yeah, they did.
Really?
They did. He's told me about that, and they got full-size firecrackers, too. They didn't have to modify them.
Man. They let you get away with so much shit back in the day.
I don't know, but at least we got fireworks in our day.
But at least I get a little bit to relive the Halloween nostalgia with my kids because they're old enough to go trick-or-treating, and my daughter's now old enough to remember trick-or-treating. And every so often she asks, oh, how soon is Halloween coming? And I think that Halloween might be her favorite holiday, even more than Christmas.
Oh, really?
She loves Halloween. She loves dressing up and getting the candy. She loves going door to door.
That's good. Good for her. Luann's she's at the church group meeting, and we're about to meet Junie Harper.
We have Junie Harper, who I fucking hate this bitch. I'm not gonna lie, she is definitely one of the most memorable King of the Hill antagonists or villains in the entire series.
For me, it's that last archaeologist, whatever they call him.
Yeah, the professor. Yeah, he's a big douchebag. But this girl reminds me of, because when we were kids, we grew up in a very religious area, and there were a lot of Junie Harpers around. In fact, one of them even ended up getting elected as the mayor of our city. And I know you've never been as civically or politically engaged as I am, and that's my cross to bear, so I'm not going to delve into that. But I remember that in our city, we had a Junie Harper type who was elected mayor, and this bitch tried to cancel fireworks and Halloween gatherings, and it was so unpopular that she only served one term as mayor and got kicked out the next term.
And they re-voted in 80-something-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. We had some 80-something-year-old guy who was the mayor since before any of us were born. And he retired, and then this Junie Harper type sucked so bad that they brought back the guy as old as dirt.
Brought him out of retirement.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, boy. That's as bad as it gets.
So I really resonate with this episode personally. Unlike the last episode that I think was something that really personally resonated with you, but I've met a few Junie Harpers in my time, so this episode really resonates with me.
We have different kinds of antagonists, eh?
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of, one thing that our antagonists share from episode to episode is that Junie Harper is also very manipulative, and she can clearly manipulate Luann this time into her sphere of influence.
That's right. I never thought of that, hey? Manipulation's manipulation.
Unfortunately, poor Luann, as naive and innocent as she is, gets manipulated into various different causes throughout the show.
And Luann drags Bobby into this, which I think is the biggest crime of them all.
100%. We'll get into that later in the episode, but just putting herself in between Hank and Bobby is disgusting.
Satan be gone!
I couldn't have put it any better myself. It's bad.
Yeah. And she's lucky Hank didn't kick her to the curb after this, but she figures.
Old man would have. Anybody want between the relationship with him and his boys?
Yeah, fair enough. I also think it's a little on the nose, though, for Hank to dress up Bobby as literally the devil. But then again, it was his, as we saw in the flashback, his own personal Halloween costume.
He had the laugh to go with it and everything.
We could see that Junie is already trying to get her hooks into Luann.
And a girl like Luann is obviously so impressionable. So a Junie Harper can pick her targets, eh?
Yeah, exactly. She can understand that someone like Luann is desperate for approval from authority figures, and she can use that to her advantage.
Dale's got the spirit level on the guillotine to make sure the blood flows down.
Let's get the rise and run of this trough right. I don't want my blood rushing to my severed head.
Oh, I love the little handyman throw-ins, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, they also stand up the test of time because that's one of those things that just doesn't go away. Handyman skills are as relevant as they are today as they were 30 years ago.
Square is square and level's level. Hasn't changed.
And in this scene, we can see Junie Harper exploiting the law to her advantage by proclaiming that Halloween is a religious holiday and that school should not promote Halloween in any way. And that is unfortunately something that is eked into modern society, that a lot of schools shy away from Halloween. Thankfully, the school here where I live did not do that for our kids. But
Hypocritical, though, to tell people to shy away from Halloween.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Halloween is fun. It's fun. That's what, it's not religious. It's not anything. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Personally, it's my favorite holiday as well. I just love October. I don't know what it is about the month of October and Halloween. It's just, everything always clicks for me that month. I love it.
I like Remembrance Day.
That's also a good holiday, but that's also not an American holiday. It's a Canadian holiday for us.
Sorry, Americans. Memorial Day.
Is that what they call it? I thought it was Veterans Day. I'm not sure. I'm sure people in the comments will tell us.
I can't wait for you guys to yell at us for being wrong. I'm sorry in advance.
So Junie Harper gets the haunted house at the school completely shut down, much to Hank's chagrin, and I think most of our chagrins, because Hank was so passionate about that. He was having so much fun, bringing all his creativity, his handyman expertise to the project.
Right.
And he just gets completely shut down.
As someone who is a professional handyman, who has a business as a handyman, to do let your creativity fly and do something for the kids and everything, and it gets your heart pumping, it gets you excited, and then it gets stripped away from you.
And then now we can see the conflict brewing between Hank and Luann, because Luann is defending Harper and Hank is none too pleased about it.
Fear in hand.
And in order to get revenge, Hank takes Bobby out to do a little bit of Halloween hell raising, as he says it.
This one is very reminiscent when I grew up with Dad, because Dad, he got his hell raising out of his system through me. I remember several Halloweens where Dad would take me to the fireworks store and we'd buy the fireworks and we'd go out in the field and we'd blow everything up together. And he was just like a little kid.
I do remember once when I got some fireworks and it was like a bottle rocket or something, and I attached a little toy soldier to it and it flew up into the air and exploded and ash rained down on me. We see that Junie Harper reacts in the most extreme way to some people throwing eggs and some people throwing toilet paper, and she gets so enraged that she jumps into her car and ends up literally running over her own cat, which is just disgusting.
Honestly, for vandalism to take away your animal's life, I just lost a cat recently, by the way. This one hits a little bit close to me because he was my family cat for a decade and I had to put him down.
Yeah, and losing a pet is devastating. And of course, she doesn't even take responsibility for it. She tries to blame other people, which is even worse.
Unreal.
You can see why she's my least favorite antagonist.
And there are bad ones in King of the Hill. But the thing about, you know what? The thing about King of the Hill is that their antagonists are realistic.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, you say that you've met people like the professor in your life, and I've met people like Junie Harper in my life. So yeah, they're 100% realistic.
No one's ever met a Lex Luthor before.
Hey.
King of the Hill, these people, you love to hate them because you know them.
Yeah. And I also love here Peggy standing up for herself against this bitch, saying that, you know what, I'm just as much of a Christian as you are because I've done my fair share to support the church and religious institutions way more than you have.
That's a very silky thing to do.
I do feel like Hank's being a little hypocritical here by letting Bobby take the fall for what he cajoled him into.
I would never do that. I would always, if I did it, I would never let my kid take the fall for it.
100%.
My goodness.
Because that ends up setting up what happens here, where Bobby ends up going towards Junie Harper and feeling guilty for what he did because he's getting punished for it when it was his dad who set him up. This rift allows Luann to come in here and basically talk Bobby into Junie Harper's position. And this is the worst scene of the entire episode, where she dumps the cat's corpse on the fucking, whatever these guys are, the tribunal, the city council.
Yeah.
Dumping it on their desk. Oh, what a fucking bitch.
I don't think that would fly today.
But because of Junie Harper's display, they end up canceling Halloween. And I can't imagine anything worse as a kid than to have Halloween canceled.
That it wouldn't have been canceled. You could have told me that it was canceled, and I'd have been like, okay, you bet. And I just done my own thing anyways.
And that's the thing that if everyone had defied the curfew, which doesn't seem like is happening in this episode, but again, as someone who's the former law enforcement, one thing that law enforcement and the government is not able to handle is a lot of people doing something at the same time. So if everyone just denied the curfew, there's nothing that the police or anyone could. Hank put all his work into his haunted house, and there's no one there to appreciate it.
As someone who is a contractor and a handyman, just builds things for a living, that's sad, man. I feel for Hank. You put your heart and soul into building something and no one shows up.
The only thing that's allowed to run is the Hallelujah house. And this is just, I love the scene where she brings up all the ridiculous stereotypes where if you have sex before marriage, you're going to die. Just insane. And again, I've met people like this in real life. Like, these people fucking exist and they're crazy. And this here with the monkey coming in and eating the baby.
Oh no, he's eating the baby. Stop him, honey.
We can't. It's against the law to teach creationism.
And here we have Luann admitting that she poisoned Bobby's mind and got him to go over to Junie Harper's. And Peggy is furious. And of course, I don't blame her.
I watched this episode with Silky, and when Silky seen Peggy flip out like this, she was ready to give Peggy a standing O.
You don't come in between a parent and their child like that.
Especially a dad and his kid.
Peggy softens the blow by giving Hank a Alamo.
It's a good woman.
Luann took Bobby to Junie Harper's house for an anti-Halloween church party.
I came very close to spitting out beer.
And then Hank, one of the rare moments where he is defying the law. And that's part of the reason why I really respect Hank in this episode, because he's going full vigilante here.
Vigilante. That's one word I would never use to describe Hank Hill.
This is the only episode where he does something like this, really.
Boo! I am a high-priced Washington lobbyist peddling influence. Who wants candy?
I love this little scene here where we have all the different salesmen pushing different tactics to get all the kids to sign the Hallelujah House Pledge.
I know. They do a good job with sales, like the whole sales thing in this series. There's a lot of great rips on it.
Yeah, and because it's realistic too. Then we have the final showdown where Hank is literally in a devil costume and she's literally in an angel outfit. And they're trying to battle for Bobby's heart and mind.
And this is a scene where Hank Hill is wearing it. Does anyone ever consider Hank to be the devil?
No, Hank here pulling out all the stops to make the kids laugh. And you know what? That's the way if you want to endure kids to you, just make them laugh. Be silly. Don't be too serious.
I'm really good at being not too serious.
And ultimately, we have Bobby siding with Hank because he wants to be with his old man.
Yep. and nature takes its course. But anyways,
Well-
bro, what do you give her out of 10? I think I know the answer.
You think, yeah, obviously, because I said that this is probably one of my top 10 episodes. This is going to be a rare 10 out of 10 for me. Anything that I consider to be in that real upper echelon, I'm going to give a 10 out of 10. This for me is one of the all-time greats. And what about you, Mitch? What do you think?
I hadn't actually given it any thought until this point in time, and I'm going to give it, I think, an 8.5.
Wow, okay.
5.
Yeah. Still pretty solid, but yeah, it doesn't hit quite as home for you. This is going to wrap up season 2, episode 4, and unfortunately the only Halloween episode in the entire series. I hope you guys appreciated that episode. And once again, if you enjoy our content, feel free to subscribe, and we'll be back next week with episode 5.
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys then, and we'll see you guys next time.
Take her easy. Bye now.
The complacency of fools will destroy them. Proverbs.
Get out of my house! Exodus!